An Open Heart by the Dalai Lama. We're reading it. We're on page 65. We're about to start Karma. Very big Buddhist. It's Karma. Let's see what he's got to say about this. Find out what I've got wrong about this. Our ultimate aim as a Buddhist practitioner is to attain the fully enlightened and omniscient state of Buddha, the vehicle we require as a human body and a sane mind. Well, good luck with that then, everybody. Most of us take being alive as relatively healthy human beings for granted. In fact, human life is often referred to in Buddhist texts as extraordinary and precious. It is the result of enormous accumulation of virtue accrued by us over countless lives. Each human being has devoted a great amount of effort to attaining this physical state. Why is it of such value? Because it offers us the greatest opportunity for spiritual growth, the pursuit of our own happiness and that of others. Animals simply do not have the ability to willfully pursue virtue the way humans do. They are victims of their ignorance. We should therefore appreciate this valuable human vehicle and must do all we can to ensure that we shall be reborn as a human being in our next life. They say one of the biggest positivities to having a human life is you see the whole spectrum of the wheel of death. So there are hell realms on earth and there are also God realms on earth, and you can see all of it. So the Buddhists do talk about hell realms and talk about God realms, but I think again it's like visions within visions, because you know, there's some pretty dark shit that goes on earth, and you could say that that's a hell, and there is some, you know, pretty godlike situations where you've got everything you need and everyone's being lovely to you and all of this. So, and because if you're in the middle you can see all of it, then you can generate compassion for both sides. So that's why a human life is precious from a learning the mind point of view, especially if you're in the middle, like me, like where you are not constantly struggling for survival. I mean, literally, like in Syria or something, or you're not absorbed in your own life, like when you're like super rich, expecting everything and being able to get what you want. That's a total distraction. When you're in the middle and you're a bit of everything, you can get your shopping in, but you also have to, well, you get the point. It's in the middle. So we're supposed to try and be human in our next life. That's a whole new kettle of fish. Though we continue to aspire to attain full enlightenment, we should acknowledge that the path to Buddhahood is a long one, for which we must also make short-term preparations. Although we continue to aspire to attain full enlightenment, we should acknowledge that the path to Buddhahood is a long one, for which we must also make short-term preparations. Fucking hell. To be someone who never gets angry, and that's not happened, and I've been practicing fucking Dharma for 20 fucking trillion years. It's a long path. Bloody hell. But then I'm not really meditating properly at the moment, so maybe I'll make a bit more progress if I got off my fat ass. As we have seen, to ensure rebirth as a human being with the full potential to pursue spiritual practice, one must first pursue an ethical path, right? This is what we've been doing, we've built into this, be a good person, try and do everything consciously, so then when you sit down you know why you did stuff so you don't get absorbed. This, according to Buddha's doctrine, entails avoiding the 10 non-virtuous actions or the 10 non-helpful actions. The suffering caused by each of these actions has many levels. To give ourselves more reason to desist from them, we must understand the workings of the law of cause and effect, known as karma. We've already just covered cause and effect, so if you go up and punch someone in the face, generally they're not going to be happy with you. If you haven't given someone a fiver, then generally they're going to be like happy with you, although some people might like what you're playing at. Karma, which means action, refers to an act we engage in as well as its repercussions. Okay. Karma is everything. It sounds like it's separate. karma. But karma's everything. It's the shape of my hand right now. It's how I talk. It's my cause and effect. I've got a shower curtain behind me. The floor, where I am in the world, is just everything. It's like the fabric of reality. But where the Buddhists are, the karma aspect comes in, is that it's born from our cause and effect. So if, which is a little bit like, so like he was talking about earlier, like if you're depressed, everything you see is dark and it's not happy. And so our karma is a mixed bag of everything. How you perceive, how you got where you are, the stuff you've got around you, and cause and effect plays all in that, down to your basic items. Like you decided you wanted a tin of beans, you've got a tin of beans. So cause and effect is in everything. Karma, which means action, refers to an act we engage in as well as its repercussions. When we speak of the karma of killing, the act itself would be taking the life of another being. The wider implications of this act are also part of the karma of killing, the suffering it causes to the victim as well as the many who love the dependent upon that being. The karma of this act also includes certain effects upon the actual killer. These are not limited to this life. Actually, the effect of a unvirtuous act grows with time, so that a ruthless murderer's lack of remorse in taking a human life began in the past life of a simple disregard for the life of others, as seemingly inconsequential as animals or insects. This is very much Buddhist, sort of like, that's quite, you have to really think about karma and believe in it to believe in future lives, right? So this is based on that, really. But I think if you bring that down to a grounded sort of microcosm, just the act of killing starts with the thought, I don't really like this person, or some situation in the past where you've decided that you are so hurt or aggrieved or whatever, that killing someone ends up being a natural response to that pain. It's unlikely that a murderer would immediately be reborn as a human being. Well, I can't really give you a down-to-earth version of that. The circumstances under which one human being kills another determines the severity of the consequences. A brutal murderer committing a crime with delight is likely to be born to great suffering in the realm of existence we call hell. A less severe case, say, killing in self-defense, might mean rebirth in the hell of lighter suffering. Ooh, joy. Less consequential non-virtues might lead to one being born in as an animal, lacking the ability to improve mentally or spiritually. Right, well, I don't know about lives and so forth, whether there's past lives or not, whether we go to hell or not, or what I will say is the actions of killing someone will say, for example, send you to prison, but you will then be excluded from society and you will then meet the consequences of being in prison, whether that's the contempt of the people around you, or you lose your respect and all of that stuff. So there are mental consequences that harm the killer and make their lives miserable because there's no respect. Oh, thank you very much. You come to tell me again the things you tell me. Can you not get in? You're going to have to wait a minute because I've got 10 seconds. When one is eventually reborn as a human being, the consequences of various unvirtuous acts determine the circumstances of one's life in different ways. Killing in a previous lifetime dictates a short lifespan and much illness. It also leads to the tendency to kill, ensuring more suffering in future lives. Similarly, stealing causes one to lack resources and to be stolen from. It also establishes a tendency to steal in the future. Sexual misconduct, such as adultery, results in future lives in which the company you keep will be untrustworthy and in which you will suffer infidelity and betrayal. These are some of the effects of the 3 non-virtuous acts we commit with our body. Okay, we'll stop there. And we'll do the 4 non-virtuous acts of speech in a minute.